Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Dan Cave and welcome to part number 5 of the Tamiya 112 scale Renault RE20. Now, finally here, this is the final part. I didn't think it was going to be only 5 parts, but you know, sometimes these things happen. You get into the editing and boom, there you go, you've actually completed the video build series. So that's kind of the way part 5 has gone. Been a bit of a gap since part 4. Again, you know, other things have gotten in the way. The weather here where I live in the UK has been absolutely fantastic last couple of months. So, you know, weekends have been kind of dominated by a variety of things, holidays, you know, trips out, that kind of stuff. Just modelling has taken a little bit of a backward step or a little bit of a step down on the priority list over the last couple of months. But here we are. We are back with part 5. And that'll be done. That'll be the video series done. And then we'll crack on with some more video builds, course, in the future. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video, and feel free to leave a comment down below as well. So as is kind of my usual kind of state, we'll head on over to the bench, see what happens in part 5, and I'll be back at the end for some final thoughts. So put your feet up, grab a cuppa, a biscuit, whatever, and enjoy the show, watch the show. At least you're here anyway. So let's head on over. I'll see you at the end. So welcome back to the journey, and this time in part 5 we're starting with the gearbox. So engine was finished in the last part, so at the back of the engine goes the gearbox. So as you can imagine, there's plenty of parts, a little bit of photo etch for the I guess the gearbox oil cooler, a little bit of plumbing work, all very similar to some of the steps that were done in previous parts. Nearly all the parts have been primed in UMP black and then painted various metallic colours. The gearbox itself is in semi-gloss black. And of course, either side of the gearbox, there's apertures for the drive shaft to go in. And they are a tight fit, but they do go in. And they basically don't need any gluing. They're such a tight fit. So assembly continues of the gearbox itself. A little bit of framework, getting all the relevant pipework lined up into relatively correct positions. And then of course, either side of the gearbox with the drive shafts added, there's the rear suspension and there'll be the rear brake discs as well. So the actual shock absorbers themselves, if they're assembled correctly, go together like so. And then use some CA glue, which will then fit what I think is an oil cooler or an oil tank just ahead of the gearbox. So brakes themselves, plenty of cleanup work. The actual wheel hubs themselves, there's quite a visible seam line, using the D-Spay sander just to clean up those relevant seam lines. I do find this tool very, very good for working in some of the detail areas. It's a little bit noisy, but to be honest, it gets the job done very, very well. The pads are nowhere near as aggressive as I thought they'd be. And of course, once all those parts are cleaned up, it's over to the spray booth and the usual action of priming it with UMP gloss black primer, I think, for these parts. And then the hubs themselves and the brake cooling ducts, they're done in X18 semi-gloss black. And that's gone over the UMP black primer, so that lays down very, very well. Main part of the brake discs is painted in, I think it's Alclad steel. And of course, with this kit, for the brake discs, there is some photo etch. So there is some attachment points on the photo etch, which needs a little bit of cleanup. Just using a diamond file just to clean up those little rough edges. Once I'm happy with all the cleanup work, using a little bit of CA glue to then pop that brake disc front face in place. Of course, doing the same on the rear and doing the same on the opposite disc as well. So once all those parts are detail painted, assembled, etc. in the case of the brake discs, it's time to assemble the hubs together. with the relevant drive shafts as well. So you've got the hub, the drive shaft, the brake cooling duct, the brake disc, the brake caliper. There's quite a few parts to go together on this. And once that's completed, that drive shaft can be inserted into the end of the drive shaft that's attached to the gearbox. Once that's in place, there are some screws which will then go into the upper wishbones. I think there's a screw either side, forward and aft, basically. So there's a little bit of pipe work needs to be adjusted. And the lower arms can be put in place as well. Although I think I end up removing them to get the bodywork in place, which I think I remember to not glue them in place at this stage. But nonetheless, once all that is ready, that gearbox end and rear suspension, rear brake discs, that can be glued onto the back of the engine itself. Now the actual chassis of the car will actually help kind of trap everything together. There's plenty of screws which will make sure that the gearbox stays with the engine. The gluing faces are just temporary. So that's set to one side, and it's time to get back to the bodywork, which was 2K'd absolutely ages ago, and give that a little bit of a flattened polish just to improve the appearance of the 2K. A few dust spots here and there, nothing significant. The usual process for the 2K, using the God Hand sanding sponges. So I think I used the 6, 8 and 10K, and then using the UMP polishing compounds with a rotary sander. So once all that bodywork polishing is done, there's a little bit of masking on the bodywork just to cover up the main painted color areas, and then basically repaint inside the faces, inside of some of the body parts in, I think it's Alclad aluminium. Again, the majority of this car back in the early 80s would have been made of aluminium, very little carbon fiber used. So that Alclad aluminium works absolutely perfectly. And with that done, it's time to start adding some of the components, some of the intake ducting. There's a variety of parts, of course, for the ground effect skirt as well. And then the top panel that goes over that's glued in place using some CA glue. And then it's a case of trying to fit that completed chassis with engine and gearbox inside the body. This, of course, is where the problems, at least the problems I created for myself, occurred. And this is where those turbo inlets just push that bodywork apart. But with my desire, of course, to get the kit finished, I wasn't going to go back and rework those exhausts again, or those headers. So the main bodywork / chassis is all screwed together. The exhausts have also been put in place. The rear on the gearbox under tray, that's also screwed in place. And with steps like this, we are, of course, rapidly moving towards the end of this build. So the front and rear wings, there's still a couple of decals to go on those parts. So those parts were never 2K'd because they were actually molded in chrome. They were subsequently repainted using, I think it's gloss aluminium. I think it's LP70 I've used from Tamiya, which is gloss aluminium. And that completes the front and rear wing. And as with earlier steps, the main bodywork is polished up nicely to remove any blemishes, any dust spots, any high points. But actually the 2K on this has worked out absolutely brilliantly. But once that's all polished, the inside of the upper part of the bodywork is just given a coat of, I think it's semi-gloss black. The bodywork's unlikely to ever come off, so I'm quite happy just to brush paint this.
thinning it as I go with a little bit of water mixed with some Winsor Newton flow improver. Just makes the Revell paints brush absolutely perfectly. There are some final parts to do, the wheels themselves. So again, they were molded in chrome. So chrome has been stripped, they've been reprimed and then repainted in super metallic, super stainless. Parts like the intakes, they've been repainted as well. The grills for the intakes around bodywork, glued in place using some CA glue. Wing mirrors are added, they're simple semi-gloss black paint. And then there's chrome inserts for the glass itself. And with these kind of kits, there's always something else to do. The front wing assembly needs to be glued together with the front nose cone. Simple case of dropping that into the locating tabs and then gluing the front wing onto the underside of the nose cone. And then I think finally all the remaining parts of the bodywork are now completed. So parts like the rear wing can be screwed in place. The overall main part of the bodywork, and of course you can now clearly see that gap between the upper bodywork and the side panels. So that's just where the exhaust headers and turbo have just pushed those parts slightly too far apart, but nonetheless it's all screwed together. Final parts are screwed in place. Wheels themselves are assembled. So there are nuts which go on the screw / machine screws that were put through the hubs. And with that done, the build is finally complete. So let's have a look at some of the final photos, starting with a few close-up shots. Really hard photograph kit of this size, but nonetheless absolutely over the moon with how it's gone together, aside from the various flaws which I've mentioned and are now obvious in this picture. Really pleased with how this big 1/12 scale kit has gone together. Lovely kit out of the box, good value for money, thoroughly enjoyable. Definitely recommend it. But then, you know, it's a Tamiya kit, it's a 12 scale kit. Of course it's going to be fine. But with that in mind, let's head back to me for some final thoughts.
So there we have it. There's part 5, there's the build complete, there's the kit complete. Overall kind of thoughts on this kit. It is an aging kit from Tamiya, but for what you get in the box for, well, what I paid for when I got it, which was 110 in the UK, I think, when I bought it. The huge amount of modelling involved in that for that kind of price. You know, when you look at a decent 24 scale kit, could be upwards of 50-60 pounds. Obviously not all of them, but certainly the newer ones. You know, you get lots of modelling for your money in a kit like this. The fit is pretty spot on. The issues were of my own doing. Everything else went together pretty much flawlessly on the kit. There's lots of areas where the kit could be improved, as this was the first time I built a 12 scale car ever, actually. I kind of wanted to do it just straight from the box, see how I get on. Interesting thoughts about 12 scale for me. You know, I'm very much kind of results driven with my modelling. I like to get things finished. I like to feel that kind of surge of completion. Find it very rewarding as part of the hobby. I think with this kit, just the length of time it took with a 12 scale kit, maybe I didn't find it as rewarding as some other kits. I think had I invested more time into more detailed parts or trying to design parts or scratch build parts, I'm not sure I would have gotten the reward from it that I maybe get from some other kits. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I did really enjoy it. I'm really pleased with the finish, in spite of the obvious flaw that, you know, I kind of mentioned during the build process, or at least the obvious flaw for me anyway. It's by no means perfect. There's lots of little errors here and there, but I enjoyed it. I've got a good, you know, I've had a good time building it. It's on the shelf over there. It's got pride of place on one of the shelves. So, you know, in full view of, well, no one that comes in here to look at my kits, but certainly a full view of me when I'm walking the room. So very pleased with how it came out. So thanks again for sticking with me. Thanks again for watching, for labouring your way through 5 parts of this build series. Of course, if you are new here, there's 4 other parts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And I'm going to say that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all very, very soon. And it's goodbye from the Dan Cave. Bye for now.